Hey guys, how's it going? Happy 420. I thought this was going to be a great idea. I was going to at 420 light up a joint with you guys live on Facebook. It's legal now. Who wants to do that? Anybody think that'd be a great idea? Oh man, it was just so hilarious. I was like, oh man, this is too funny. I think I'm gonna wait. I want to make sure that I can actually get live with this. I wonder if Facebook will be like, absolutely no way. But I want to bring some of you guys on here for this first, and then we'll go through this together. We've got like maybe around 4 minutes. We got about 4 minutes to go before it's 4:20 here on the Pacific Standard Time Zone. So I know it's already later on for you guys. But I used to smoke a lot of weed when I was a kid. Like I used to smoke a lot of weed when I was smaller. Hey, Deborah, how's it going? And it actually led me down a really dark path. I like to think that I wanted to try drugs. I wanted to do a bunch of different ones of them. I said I wanted to try everyone once, except for certain ones like needles or like, crack or anything like so super not cool, right? Like, like the hard stuff. And it's like meth. I didn't want to ever do that. I didn't want to get into that kind of stuff. But I always thought like as like a shaman in training, I wanted to be a spiritual kind of guy. I was like, I got to try them all. I wanted to do mushrooms. I wanted to make sure I did all the psychedelics. I wanted to do ayahuasca, DMT, and obviously smoke weed. But I wanted to have an actual human body experience with all of them at least once in my life. So weed was kind of something I always smoked. And like it was always there, and it stunted me. And I'm not trying to like get down on anybody who likes to blaze or understands how awesome it is, because I get it. Like I would go through a lot of weed by myself with my friends. I had picked up smoking so that I could cover the smell of me blazing. I went to work high. All the time. I used to blaze like 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 times a day. Like this was like me, like from the end of high school all the way up until like maybe about a year and a half, 2 years ago, if you will. Let's pull this back up. What happened here? And it's crazy. Smoke one for me. Yeah, it's funny. Welcome, guys. It's 2020 and 420 in like a minute and a half. So it was crazy to think that, my dad's joining us. Hey, and like even my parents caught me with it, and they're like, oh, it was just so embarrassing to think that like I would. Oh, Lisa's just like, Bobby says he's gonna smoke one live. Sally probably gets this one anyway. You guys are more than welcome to, and I get it. It's cool. I don't really have any judgment towards it or against it. Absolutely. But on our way, come on down. Let's quickly. Let's do it together. I gave it up, and it wasn't that I didn't want to, it wasn't that I wanted to, but I recognized that like when I found Sally and she's not into that kind of thing, I thought to myself, would I want someone or feel like into someone who would be into that kind of thing? And I was the type of person who needed it to wake up, I needed it to sleep, I needed it to eat, I needed it to do anything in my life. And it had a really, I guess like it had a negative effect because of what it turned into, and what it grew into was a need or a seeking of myself to fulfill a chemical need that my body wasn't giving to me. Because I was already taking the dopamine. I was already artificially, changing the chemicals inside of my body by taking something else instead of producing it for myself. So I was using it as a crutch. And when you use it as a crutch and it breaks, then you have to pick a bigger one. And then it breaks again and you have to pick a bigger one. And I remember when I used to do shrooms all the time, or I used to do ecstasy all the time. And then I remember I used to do blow all the time. And it kept on getting worse. I never got into alcohol. I never got into meth. I never tried heroin, crack. I never did anything really stupid. But the reality is that I was going down a bad cycle and a bad path. So as it's like 420 right now, and like Bob Marley's cool with this, Canada's cool with this, Justin Trudeau said it was okay, Donald Trump says it's fine. You can buy it in stores now. It's legal in most parts of Canada. It's been legal in Europe for a while. The reality is that like anything, if you use something as a crutch, it's gonna break. The only thing that you can use is as a true power and a true thing. And this is gonna be a sobering thought for everyone's like, he said he was gonna blaze with us. It's 420. What's up? Yeah, man. Honestly, what I meant was come smoke this idea. Come let this thing inhale inside of your brain for a second. To think that you can use, you can abuse, you can have fun, you can take things too far. Too much of anything. It turned into me being 30 pounds heavier than I want to be, and gladly to say I'm 1/3 of the way down there now. It took me thousands of dollars and years of my life wasted, like just destroying my body and destroying my life and my relationships. Okay, so I'm nothing against it. And I told Sal, I'm like, hey, it's 420 tomorrow, and it's been like, this is like the second 420 that I haven't celebrated, because I'm usually the one who's like, oh, 20 dubs and like, let's go and bong hits and oh my God. And oh man, it was crazy to think that I built my culture, my life around that. And just even to look back at it now being like, whoa, I don't actually do that anymore. It's nuts to think that like I would be in a place in my life where it's no longer one of those things that I need. And it's crazy to be in that place now, to think, like I don't smoke anymore. Like there's bad example. I've got a lighter in front of me. I know what you're thinking. It's not what you think, okay? Sally will help me out. She will attest to this. Okay, this is like the only lighter we have. She's like, do you have a lighter? I'm like, I don't. And I used to be the one with the lighter here, lighter here, lighter here, lighter here. And I don't, okay? So I'm pretty proud of myself for this. My mom can, like rest in her chair there saying like, sweet, aha, aha. I'm glad, because she was always be like, please don't, come on, don't. And here I am not having it in my life anymore. So the reason why I have it is because yesterday we smudged. And no, this isn't like like a really fat dude. Can you imagine? It's like, oh, 420, man. Let's let people think. How about it? Let's let people think. I wonder if this is worse. Anyway, so saging is this thing where you like wipe smoke in your house everywhere to like clear the energy. It's like a thing. Just Google it, okay? It's called smudging, all right? So we smudged the house because we moved into a new house. We hadn't smudged the thing. And, so we wanted to get that done. All of my crystals are lined up. It was a full moon yesterday, so I basically cleaned it all, let it all go. And then to think now, I was like, oh man, what am I going to do? 420, it's here, right? Like, I just smudged today. Awesome. Smudge. Should we smudge right now and let people think that I'm smoking? Can you imagine? It says, come smoke one with me. And you see this and you're just coming up. Oh man, that would be so funny. That would be so funny. Oh gosh. I want to just like leave this here to make people think. Nishay, it's not what you think, and I swear I'm not. It's just smudge, man. I'm not smoking the smudge. So we smudged our place last night. We cleansed all the energy. We let go a bunch of stuff. I've been going through healing sessions and coaches and mentors. I've been hiring people to help me get better. And the reality is that like this stuff impact, like not the smudge, this story, like this addiction and me smoking weed, it inspires people to know that you can use what you hated about yourself and have a motivation behind it instead when you let go of the energy behind it. So now I look at it, I'm like, what was I going to say? What was I going to do? I'm doing the numerology. I'm like, okay, 4 + 2 is 6. And, this feeling is there. Smoking white sage is actually really good for your lungs. Peggy, I'm not sure about that. I don't know if I could do that anymore. So is this white sage or do I have to find white sage? This looks like white. I don't know. It looks very light. But crazy that it is. Ugh. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I can't think about it. Maybe like from the secondhand smoke, I kind of like hit it, but hold that laughing with squinty eyes, right? Like this. Oh, that was so good. I could just do my Go Live like this. And then like it looks like I'm just like, that's so funny. Oh, Sage, how awesome the feeling. Anyway, so the energy got cleared in here, and I just got off my second session. Super freaking powerful. Holy moly! These people are coming to me, and guys, it's so strange. I'm just like, who are you? Like I say that, I'm like, what are you doing here? And I actually feel this, like I'm in the presence of powerful energy, and these are people just regular human beings trying to find their way in the world. And here I look at their charts and I'm like, there's a lot going on in here. Like, are you okay? Like, what are we doing? And that's what I mean, it's what I do is help people figure out who they are, right? Like, what you want to make with your life and where you want to take it. It's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, I wish you guys a powerful 420. I hope that you guys are nice and safe, that you're not driving, that you guys got a chance to do something cool. If you celebrate, if you don't, and you're like, oh, drugs are merit, like, honestly, I suggest you just relax. You probably need to smoke one the most. Yeah, you don't have to. If you don't need to, you don't want to, I applaud you, and I envy you. I always admired people who said, no, I've never smoked. I'm like, whoa, good for you. Don't ever do it. And this is while I was like blazing, like, you want some? And they're like, no. I'm like, really? You don't smoke? You never have? Oh man, I wonder what that must feel like. And now I know that feeling, plus I know the feeling of what I had to do to get over it. So super cool. So super cool. And also the energy these days is crazy. Like the people that I'm seeing, can I see it? I just wanted to see this. I'm not going to pull out any names, but I'm just going to quickly take a look and see, show you guys what's happening inside of here, because this was just so super nuts. And I was like, really? Is this real life? Where are they? I'm just going to quickly pull them up. Well, I'm going to try to quickly pull it up, but the fact is that it's taking its time loading, because this computer isn't as fast as my Mac. But I also wanted to show off that I got a bunch of screens. No big deal. It's just, it's how I do my work. Those are 50 inches of glory up top. No big deal. One day I'll show you guys what my whole thing looks like. So then I think I have already. So yeah, these people today were like, I measure names, right? I put names together, and my mom's joining me now. She's like, I gotta see this. What's happening? Mom, I'm here on 420. My mom's probably having a heart attack right now. This is not weed, I promise. It's weird, but ask Dad. He'll tell you if he was watching. It's called sage, and no, I'm not smoking it. I was talking about this to people saying that, 420, right? Like, I used to smoke a lot of weed, and now I don't smoke weed anymore. So I love you, and I'm so sorry that I did that to you my whole life. I must have driven my parents so freaking insane with, like, the amount of like, I don't know, like, just like I put them through a lot. But I'm not there I'm neither here nor there. And it's not something that I not that I don't condone it. It's just that, Sally's not a fan. I needed to get my life together. My head's been a lot clearer ever since I got my life together, kind of thing. Not to say weed smokers don't. If you ever want to, know a really powerful business entrepreneur who's soared inside of the business and still smokes weed, just ask anybody in the ACE initiative. You're not smoking, are you? No, I'm not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I didn't want to fool people into thinking I was, because I had this thing here. It's like, oh, this is going to be my sage. And like, I thought it was going to be funny. So I had a good laugh, but no, I don't anymore. And this is the second 420 since I have not celebrated. So I actually don't do that anymore. And it's a really cool feeling. My mom's like, what are you doing? See? No, I didn't. No, I absolutely didn't. This is not something you smoke. This is something that when you light it, the smoke cleans and clears the air inside of your house. So it's like a spiritual thing. You don't actually smoke it. So no, I don't. And I absolutely don't. So it's really nice to think that, like, I absolutely am not there anymore. And you have to watch the replay to get this, Mom. It's only 15 minutes. You'll get through it. But it led me down a path that made me really embarrassed about who I was. And to think that, like, I got out of it without any, like, serious harm or damage. And I see some of my friends, like a good friend of mine, really, really smart friend of mine, really powerful friend of mine. He's on the streets now. And he just collects welfare, and I'm like, this guy made like a really powerful app. Like he made a really powerful thing, and he's like a smart think tank. And he ended up on the streets and turned into like a skinny, scary, and then some other of my friends who, are not even alive anymore. And, they died of overdose. And to think of what I've done and what I've had done in my life, like I am so freaking blessed and lucky that I actually got out of it. And I came forward and out with that. It was nuts. It was a couple of years ago now. But since I did, it opened up the space to actually meet Sally. Like to think, God speaking to me for a second. I ain't gonna give you women, kids, son. You want a family and you want to like be a business owner and like live the life of your dreams. You think that this exists there? Like the reason why you don't have it is because of what you're doing to yourself. And I'm like, oh man, the hand of God just went backslap me, baby. Because I was like, okay. So then I basically went and I just told everybody, and I started adding it to the power of my story instead of, that the thing that everyone kind of figured out, but nobody really wanted to say, and that kind of feeling. So I was like, all right, got to put my life back together. And this is when it really, truly started to happen for me. So in case you have an addictive quality like I do, and you want to do something in excess that you shouldn't, that's going to be really bad for you. I feel you. I've been there with you, and I wish you all the best with it. I suggest that you upgrade your level of problems and you get addicted to better things. Like in my case, apparently, I'm addicted to having kids. Like whatever, right? I get it. I'm addicted to helping people. I want to help people like all freaking day long. I'm here all day long. Like, how many hours do I spend talking onto this camera? Like, does anybody think that's like, this is where I spend my time? This is what I'm doing with it. I used to play a massive level of video games. I used to like eat really negative foods. Like I've been there and I'm still repairing myself. I still like bad food and I don't eat it. I still like to play video games and I shouldn't. So I know that there's room to grow, but I also know that I'm not dealing with the same dragons that I had before. I'm not dealing with the same demons and the same darkness that was preventing me from getting here. Now the new demon and the new darkness is to say, I need to grow as a man. I need to become I didn't go to post-secondary. I did for a little bit for certain things, but I had to become a student of becoming a real person, a real human being, because as great as an example my parents were for me, I was too doped up to pay attention to learn how to get it done myself. So I delayed it. I became an adult. I gave my own opinion. I said, and not many people come out of that, guys. And it makes me think, maybe I did this specifically so that I could, speak to those people who are like, I got to get out of this. I don't want to be here anymore. This isn't what I want for my life. And to think the amount of emotion, it wells up in me. Like it's, guys, like the amount of times I've just like sat there just straight crying in my room, like angry at my life. I hate my life. I hate myself. I'm never going to get it. Nobody wants to be with me. I'm fat. I'm ugly. Like I'm just high on drugs. All I do is that. Like, why would anyone want to be with me? That like, these are like the self-talk, like, whiplashes around my life that like occupied my mind for many, many years. And I was like, oh shit, someone's coming. Hey, how's it going? Nice to see you. How can we help you today? And then back to the depression that just like I just didn't want to be here. And it was a dark, dark space. And that's what happens when you're not naturally producing your own level of chemicals. You start to feel dead inside. You start to feel like you're not at your right self. And this could be as bad as sugar. Like maybe smoking weed wasn't your thing. And instead it was just salty snacks. And then it gets into chewy stuff. And then you want to get into the sugary stuff too. And next thing you know, you're in a full-blown addiction with eating and you use it as an emotional response. I use those as a pain-killing emotional response. And it was nuts because people like my dad and people like, Balaj and Richard and friends of mine that have known me throughout my whole life that have been there for me and actually helped me through my life, only these guys know how really deep it actually goes. And to think that I get a chance to show you today about what that, I don't know, like what I've grown from, like, man, what a powerful message. And you can smoke some weed. Like, you can have a freaking cupcake. Like, no one's going to arrest you now. Okay. Go and buy it. Like, it's an alcohol thing. It's a cigarette thing. Just because alcohol is legal doesn't mean I need to buy a 6-pack every time I run out. Like, I've had the same beers in my fridge for months, and I don't even drink anymore. I used to be the guy who had to go through, if I had 6 beers, it's like, I keep drinking them until I don't have them anymore. And then that's the weekend. Now it's just like, there's a beer in here. Like, because in case I have a guest, I want to make sure I'm at least somewhat prepared, right? So I keep some stuff and I don't keep weed on me to, like, accidentally smoke with someone just to be a good host. But now that it's legal, maybe I should, no, I think that its time has come, right? And I know it'll come again when I'm a lot older, and, like, I brag to Sally. I probably shouldn't say that. But I said to my kids want to smoke weed for the first time, it's going to be with his daddy. Like, this is like a pride and joy for me that I want to do with my kids. It's a powerful part of our culture in West Coast Canada. But for me, I had my time, right? And with that, I'm not going to have the fear of worrying. I'm going to embrace the fact that it's part of our pop culture. This is like part of the real deal. So you can't ignore it. You can't deny it. It's not blasphemous. It's not a crime against anything. Look up Jesus oil. It has hemp in it. This is like God's gift to the earth. So, do what you want, okay? But smoking is in general bad for your lungs, and anything that deranges your senses from the natural, true, divine consciousness awareness of your natural elevation of vibration through a clean vessel is probably, best used sporadically. Like, it's a, once an occasion kind of thing. But if you haven't, I absolutely suggest you have an experience. And if you have the opportunity to stop yourself from going too far, I would take every opportunity to hear every single thing I said and be very, very critical that you matter so much more than, like, the things that we do to negate the natural processes that happen. If you could just give up the meat, or just give up the thing, or just give up the sugar, or just give up the whatever it is that you do, it can even be the mental weed that you smoke. Like, how do you get high on your thoughts? Like me now, I get high on your energy, guys. Like, it replenishes me, and we help more people, because someone's going to see this for the first time. They're going to see me for the first time, and they're going to be like, you know what? I got to book in with that guy. And then they're going to book in their session. I'm going to talk to you for an hour. And because of that, that person goes off to make something really powerful happen in their life. These are odds I'd like to play. So yes, I'm investing in your energy for a specific purpose. It's so that I can grow your influence and I can grow your life. And I couldn't have gotten there without my own personal journey. I like to think of it as like street credit. But it was so super funny because I was just like, you know what? Let's just smoke a fat one. Right live. Let's just go smoke a fatty and, like, right on 420. And people are going to come in. They're going to be like, whoa, is he going to do it? Is he going to really do it? Oh, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. You're going to send it. This is sage. This isn't even weed. So this is for smudging. But I thought it was really funny because we smudged last night. We're in a new place. Full moon. We bathed the crystals. So behind me, they're all on the windowsill. And they just got a nice moon bath like last night. Like, the moon was hitting it. And apparently, that, like, cleanses the energy around it. Like, for me, I've got a really skeptical mind, but I'm super open-minded. I'm like, really? So wiping smoke across your house is going to clear it of the negative spiritual energies? Please tell me more about your super neo-spiritual point of view. And I'm like, I'll do it. Why not? Right? This is what I do. Or how about even your numerology? Like that, this is where the two combine for me. Because on one side, it's math. Like, I'm counting. I'm not guessing. I'm not, sensing, even though I do. No big deal. But I'm counting things that are happening inside of your your life. And then you validate them. Like, you recognize them. I don't know you. And yet I'm telling you things that you don't even tell yourself. And it's like, it's not like I'm some kind of super special, crazy. I just love to talk and I love to be a part of the energy and the universe, light worker. But the reality is that this technology, it says something about what we really are. And what we really are is more than what we can even understand and comprehend if our name spells the vibration that we live up to. Like, whoa, that's tripped out. Who's blazing right now? who's ripped out of their tree just thinking about this? That makes me high just thinking about it. Thinking that your name says something about you, and when I put a letter on it, like it changes who you are to the world and who you are to yourself. That's an antenna. It's a radio. And you broadcast a new frequency with a new name. Like, that's as good as putting a number on a dial. And this thing comes in crystal clear. Because, like, oh, man. Like, now suddenly I'm vibrating at a level where I can utilize my past experiences, which once almost killed me, to now help inspire wealth and other people, not only financial, but spiritual and familial and social wealth, to be able to help people inspire others. Like, this is like a chain reaction that once you get over your own shadow, once you get over your own BS story, once you get over your own hurdle, and you have the capacity to use it and capitalize on it, now suddenly we have a chance to actually really change the world. Because that's what people, I mean, for me, knowing that I almost killed myself in my room, like, from over, like, I don't want to say it. Like, that's just like, man, to think that your life can go through from that amount of darkness to thousands of people all letting me look into their lives in a way that, like, they've never seen before in their life. Like, it's the most validating mirror that you'll ever see. The true you gets to emerge, and then you get a chance to change it. Like, you have the power to take your life into your own hands. Man, that's emotional. I'm like, it's not like I want to cry, but it feels like somebody out there does. And it feels that feeling of, like, you know, so much emotion and hurt and pain of what we go through with addiction that, like, nobody knows, nobody talks about it. Everybody's like, look at my cake. You know, we all deal with it. Or, like, you know, or in my case, look at my son, look at my numerology. Not look at the stuff that I'm dealing with that, like, I hate myself over, or the stuff that makes me, you know, like, miserable, or the parts of me that feel like I can't do it. Like, I have to show up as a brand so that you guys have strength and power and light. And it's until I conquer those things that then I would bring them to market, so that somebody would say it, because somebody needs to hear it, right? Oh man, how many times have I heard, dude, that was for me, man. Like, that was my Dean impression. Dean was like, bro, that was, like, so good, man. I love my brother Dean. That guy's like, he had so much like life experience that almost killed him, that he's, like, right there on the other side. And, like, that's why, like, I connect with him on such a spiritual level, because he spiritually anchors me a lot. So I know on one level we make fun of this stuff, and, like, I do too, because I'm like, oh my God, it's an orb. You know, and then, like, you just kind of get into that state where you're in this place where you're, I don't know, tied to the reality of things. And then and you know, we think with the logical mind. I've got that in my name. I have that, you know, where I'm, like, with my birthday, I'm born on a 4-year. I have a 4 in my name. So there's gonna be, like, a skeptical part of me that's like, come on, really? And then there's another part of me that's like, absolutely, yes, really. As a matter of fact, you better not even think not yet, really, because if you do, it's going to be used against you. If you don't, I mean, like, you have to, like, you know, like, know what you're doing. You have to know what this is. You can't just be ignorant to this. You have to understand that this spiritual thread in the universe exists, because it ties and connects us. It's the reason why they can take a picture of the universe and a picture of your neuron in your brain and overlap it to be the same thing. And it's this, like, thing that we're living in this massive fractal. It's this massive, like, math. And to think that we can use it now to map your key and map your own instruction manual, guys, this is crazy. I didn't expect this to be like a pitch into my business, but to think that, you know, there's some power inside of learning about who you are, and learning about what's available. And I guess that's what numerology is. But for me, happy 420 for you guys. Anybody who's enjoying it, I absolutely hope that you had a great time. I just blew my freaking mind. Like, I'm just sitting there being like, wow, I can't believe that like what we found. And sometimes it stuns me to think that I can see something. Like today, I was meeting with someone. I'm a life path 11, and that's kind of like my claim to fame. So I've got an 11 in my chart. Hey, what's up, guys? Look at that.
We were watching you.
I got unicorns and dragons right here.
Right here. I got bees.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's like yours.
Sweet. That's awesome.
I know.
Oh,
Very
he's
exciting.
sleeping.
He's been sleeping.
Yeah, I was basically just.
And we saw your crystal.
Did you guys see my?
Yeah.
Of course, you guys were watching.
We went and saw your crystal.
Yes. Oh, there's like a $3,000 crystal. That's like, oh man.
Yeah.
It shall be
It's
mine.
beautiful.
Like from Wayne's World, where he sees the guitar and he's like,
It's
"She
yours.
will be mine." Oh yes.
It's supposed to be for you.
Yeah.
That's
Did you
what
put a
she-
deposit on it already?
No,
Not
she
yet.
was like, it's for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just tried to make a sale.
Yeah.
I'm like no, because I felt it and I'm like, what is this divine piece of earth? It was crazy, but you're crazy when you're spending $3,000 on a rock. Actually, I guess yours is like 3 times the price, and it's like a quarter of the size. So when it comes to a ring, no problem. Let's draw 10K, big deal. But when it comes to an actual spiritual magnet, it's like, oh, $3,000 is too much. So there you go. Cool. Well, I'm gonna get off now because my son is home, and I will see you guys later. Hope you guys had a great 420. It was so super fun to share it with you, and thanks, guys. We'll see you guys soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Let me get my thing here.
Oh no.
How was the